Hello, everyone. Welcome in today for episode 39 of the Podwans podcast, Clone Wars Rewatch. I am joined by, my guest for today, our host Luke will not be attending the beginning of the episode. He's having a little bit of internet issues, but we are joined by our guest today, Forward into the Black, aka Chase. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you doing? Thanks
I'm
for
doing
having me
great.
here.
Oh, it's good to you've been such a great guest on the show. You've been on the guest for quite a bit for season 3 as well. If I
A
recall.
couple episodes, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you were there
had
for
to
Hunt
hop
for
in.
Zero.
Yeah.
You were a couple of ones, yeah. And I'm glad that you're back.
Yeah.
And we are going to be covering season 4, episode 4, singular episode, Shadow Warrior. This is going to be about Jar Jar. It's going to be about Naboo. And it's going to be all that kind of fun stuff. So grab your snack, grab your popcorn, grab whatever you got, and get ready for the show.
All right.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
And we're back. How's everyone doing? Let's see if we got anyone in the chat to say hello. Not yet. Okay. I think we're already a minute and a half in, so we'll wait for people to come in. Oh yeah, we got Alanis here. Hi, Alanis.
Hello, Alanis.
Hope you're doing good. So, as per usual, today's show will be about season 4, episode 4, Shadow Warrior. Before we begin, Chase, where can the good people find you?
Yeah, I'm mostly active on TikTok at Forward into the Black there. I'm also on Twitch at Forward into the Black as well. You can also catch me every other Sunday on the podcast Rogue Council with my co-host Higo Damask27 and Xanatos1138 or David. And yeah, we'll be talking this Sunday about Solo, the movie.
Nice. And just to get a little bit of an icebreaker question. I know that you've received a few, but I don't know if you've received this one. What is your favorite planet in the Star Wars galaxy?
If I'm going to go Legends, it's Manon, the water world from Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
If we're going to go canon, Crate.
Ooh.
Crate's cool, man.
I love Crate. I love the idea of a salt planet. I love the whites and then the red.
Yeah.
Like something with white and red. Like the mixture of those two colors is super cool. Unfortunately, I'm not Polish. So, but I would say my favorite planet is probably Bespin. I think it's got that. I love the cool orange, blue, pink palette to it. I love Cloud City. I mean, it also is an Empire Strikes Back, so that's also a plus. Yeah. And I don't know, something about the planet itself is just super interesting. But yeah, that's where I would probably live if I were in Star Wars, and I think that I would be taking control of Lando's palace and just having a bunch of parties there and whatnot.
Bespin's great. Cloud City, like just as a concept, is super cool.
Like, oh yeah, Bespin is. Cloud City, like the fact that it is a technically floating world or city, I don't know. It's just something about it, man. It's just, it's just fascinating. But anyway, we will be getting into season 4, episode 4, Shadow Warrior, and I will be reading the plot summary as per usual. And here we go. Okay. As war. Oh, wait, what? Oddly enough, a StreamYard ad blocked my plot summary, huh? Oddly enough, as we're on StreamYard. All right. As war continues to fracture the galaxy, planets become pawns in a dangerous chess game. One planet in peril is Naboo, where suffering and civil unrest threaten once friendly relations between the people on the surface and the underwater dwelling Gungans. Rumors that the Gungans plan to aid the Separatists is an attack on Theed for Senator Padme Amidala home, accompanied by Jedi General Anakin Skywalker. That was a mid reading, but I mean, hey, I only got one. I don't have to do like 25 more. It's all good.
Right.
Hello, Taco Force Space Commanders. Hello. Atlantis Christophsis or bust.
I'm
Rip Luke. Yeah,
Oh,
Luke will be
man.
here soon. Luke will be here
we'll,
soon.
we'll get him in. We'll get him in. Once his internet's messing up on him. We've all been there.
Yeah. So the beginning of the episode is as follows. So let me get the notes out. Okay. So the beginning of the episode is that Anakin and Padme are sent to Naboo to figure out why the Gungans are threatening to go to war with Naboo. They're curious because they've had a very long peace between the two, as seen in the Phantom Menace. And they're just curious as to why. And then we go and see Boss Leone. Anakin tells Jar Jar to meet with them on the surface of Lake Pyonga, which is where Oto Gunga, the Gungan city, is located in. So we go there, and Boss Leone, they go down there, and Boss Leone, he seems to be out of it, I would say. Boss Leone gives a speech to the Gungans to rally them to war against the Naboo. And you can see that there's something going wrong with him. Like, you can see his eyes rolling, that there's something out of control. And Boss Leone was given a necklace. Like, you can see that there's like a necklace that he's wearing that he apparently gives him power. And so Rish Lu, his like personal advisor that was next to him, the purple Gungan with like the tusks, tells him that it was basically like some sort of like increased power within his ability. So when he's wearing that, you can see that he's like, "You will attack the Naboo. You stop blabbering on. Go do my duty." But you can see that there's something pulling his strings. And when Anakin and Padme show up, he sees that he looks like that he's being possessed, and he force pulls the necklace, and then he's like it was like the SpongeBob movie after the like the chum buckets get off the heads. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of reminded me of a little bit. And then the necklace was essentially just to control his mind and do what Rish Lu wanted, which Rish Lu, obviously, when you see, he is aligned with the Separatists. Boss Leone doesn't want anything to do with the Separatists. He was just being manipulated into thinking that the Separatists were the good guys, and they had to attack the Naboo for Rish Lu's benefit. So then we go to and then we understand that like we know that Naboo has been a peaceful planet for over a decade. But then you have to understand that even the most loyal planets to the Republic have some type of corruption. Like, we see Gungans as like these peaceful people, but then you see Rish Lu, and then you're confused as to like, there can be bad Gungans. Not all Gungans are peaceful. There's always like, there's like a bad bunch of a good group of people. And unfortunately, Rish Lu was he was scheming to become the leader of the Gungans. That was essentially what he was doing. And after that, once the necklace is taken off of him, he goes and confronts Rish Lu and be like, "Hey, you are controlling me, or you suck controlling me. You stop this." And they get into a little fiasco, and some things happen. So my first question to you, Chase, is: do you think the plan of Rish Lu's was ever going to work? Like, do you think that his plan of having the Separatists attack the Naboo was going to come into fruition?
No, and I don't think it was ever meant to come to fruition. I think, when we have the characters like Dooku, Grievous, Palpatine, and Trench, they're constantly manipulating as many people as they can to get their own goals met, which always is at the expense of other people. And in this case, it was Rish Lu. Oh, hello.
Get some newcomers.
Hey.
Hello.
Howdy,
We have an Aidan.
howdy. How's it going, everybody?
Pretty good. I see your internet's working.
It was for a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but this just went crazy. Char, where are we at?
We are currently at the part where I asked Chase about if Rish Lu's plan was ever going to work.
Okay.
So we're not too far in.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, one thing that I noticed, like you said, like SpongeBob with the chum bucket hats. I thought it was more like in a Lord of the Rings Two Towers, like the manipulation of the advisor to the king, and the advisor is just under the influence of a greater power, being Saruman, and in this it's Dooku. Which, fun fact, same person, always up to the same naughty things. So I think that's like just a cool parallel I noticed when I was watching it, is like it's literally the same thing over going on here with just Christopher Lee being up to no good. And yeah, I think this is just one of those things. I think it is a great way that we show the separatists and their plots and their schemes and how it's always at the expense of other people. So yeah, Richelieu was doomed from the beginning for all of this. And we see this happen later on in the episode. But yeah, no, his plot was never going to work. You have Padme that's going to step in. You have the Jedi Council and the rest of the Republic that will step in and basically say, no, the Gungans cannot take over Theed. Theed is its own capital city. You guys have Utica. Like, it was never going to work.
No, yeah, absolutely. Aiden, good to have you on. Both me and Aiden were having some technical difficulties, but
unfortunately.
glad to have you on. What are your thoughts on Rushlow?
Yeah, I mean, definitely out of all the Gungans we've met, Richelieu is definitely one of the Gungans that is really good at what he does, which is manipulation. And, you know, it's not like the personality we kind of relate with the Gungans, which makes it so interesting. Kind of like this Gungan who is going against basically the wants and needs of his own people to kind of use it for his own personal gain by, you know, going to Count Dooku and trying to get the Separatists to invade Naboo and kind of, you know, push out the Naboo and have the Gungans basically, you know, take over the whole planet of Naboo. It's really interesting storyline, even though it's really short. But yeah, this was definitely a very interesting episode, and Richelieu is definitely a very interesting character for the amount of time we get him in the show.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Richelieu is for the time that he has, he's trying to pull a lot of strings, and it does not go his way. Let me say that. So yeah, we see Boss Leone. We get to see some Anakin and Padme action, and it's great because, like, most of the time when you see Anakin and Padme fighting side by side, you think that if Padme is struggling, you see Anakin's like, no, I gotta go help her, like the typical like man saves woman, like damsel in distress kind of thing, and then Padme is just like, huh, but like takes out the commando droid.
Yeah, when she shoots that commando droid just like straight through the head, I'm like, yeah,
I'm like,
Padme knows what's up.
I'm like, she doesn't need Anakin to take out any clankers, but and then right before Richelieu escapes, you know, Anakin and Padme, he stabs Boss Leone and he bails. And this obviously is a concern because Boss Leone is a very important part to this entire episode because he's the one that's in control of the Gungan army that's about to attack the Naboo. So if he doesn't do something about it, there could be a lot of turmoil on the planet. So Anakin and Padme discover that Jar Jar is almost a doppelganger of Boss Leone, which I think it's very funny how they implemented that into the story with how if these two guys look the same, he can just replace them.
I do love Jar Jar's comment, like right before the cut after this whole interaction. He's like, you know, we don't all look the same, right?
It depends on the color scheme.
Yeah.
Captain Tarples is like, you know, it's different, but yeah, they're very similar, and it's odd. And a lot of the scenes where Jar Jar is trying to impersonate Boss Leone, and he's just like, Wisa. He's trying to like change his voice immediately to try to match it, and it's so funny how he pulls it off because it's like in the movies you see Jar Jar as like this like clumsy bozo, essentially this clumsy idiot, and then he actually like pulls something off, like in the benefit of Naboo. I mean, it's in a point later on that we'll get to, but like he literally doesn't even try, and he saves Naboo.
It's
No,
kind of
yeah.
how it goes for him, though, right?
What's that?
He always saves Naboo by accident. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't. It's just Jar Jar's thing, I guess. I don't know. I mean, the only thing he can't save is the Senate. But Anakin and Padme discover that he's basically a doppelganger, and Rish Lu. So the Gungans have already like gathered up, like outside, like before. If you see the Battle of Naboo in the Phantom Menace, like they walk through those swamps. Like behind that is where they all gathered up, about to march on the plains, and Rish Lu speaks to all of them, alerting them that Boss Leone is quote unquote dead. Um, and then in the little weeds area, you see Anakin and Jar Jar being like, Jar Jar, go do something. And it was like, Jar Jar can't, but Boss Leone can. And then he goes out there, puts on the hat, and he's like kind of like doing like his funny walk. But then he's like and then he becomes very regal, and then he like walks straight.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then and then one of the Gungan soldiers notices him. He's like, Boss Leone, he's alive, or is alive. And then they're all like, oh my god, oh my god. And then Rish Lu is like kind of shaking. You can see that a little bit. And I think that, well, so Rish Lu's reaction is just priceless. I just love Rish Lu. I don't love him as like a character. I love like the fact that he's like scared that Jar Jar is like, imagine someone being scared of Jar Jar. I don't know. But,
No, yeah. You're right.
And then once Jar Jar comes into the frame, he starts trying to speak like Boss Leone. He's like, but he, like I said before, he does like his little voice change. We saw no attack the Naboo. We no need to attack them. And then he's like, Rish Lu manipulate my mind. And then he manipulate Misa my mind, or whatever he said. And then all the Gungans turn on Rish Lu. And then he tries to bail on a speeder bike, and then Anakin chases after him. And after that, Luke, you can go ahead and take the reins.
So Rishlo takes off, and Anakin runs by Jar Jar, and he's like, all right, now don't screw this up, Boss Leone. And all of a sudden, we get a shot of a separatist ship landing on the planet. Which brings the question: how does the Republic not have a fort or a station on Naboo?
I don't know if this is a canonical explanation. I know a lot of worlds, mostly neutral worlds, did not obviously want any Republic influence at all. And there were Republic worlds that were like, we support the Republic, but we don't support the war. And I know from multiple books, and especially in a lot of Legends books, the Republic like Naboo was like only with the Republic for convenience sake, like so that they could sustain themselves when a war was coming. The one thing I always like, the thing that bothers me about this isn't the fact there's no Republic base or embassy, is it's who gave separatist ships landing clearance?
Yeah.
Like
literally,
like what happened the last time they landed on this planet. It almost destroyed everything. Like who's in charge of like air traffic control on Naboo?
yeah. I don't know.
Dooku.
Yeah, probably Dooku. No, you're right. Aiden, your thoughts?
I like to think that so much is able to happen on Naboo because, of course, it is the home planet of Palpatine. So it's just another avenue for him to manipulate things and cause distractions. Like in the show, this isn't the first time that the Separatists have been operating on Naboo without the knowledge of the Republic, going back to the Blue Shadow virus arc back in season 1. So now this is another time where, okay, the Separatists are on Naboo again, and we don't really know how, but I think it's the manipulation of Palpatine and kind of Palpatine and ordering Dooku and whatnot to kind of use Naboo as kind of like a staging ground that can kind of be without much I'm forgetting the word, but it's not going to be as scrutinized as other
Yes.
planets if Palpatine says so.
Mhm.
So I think that's why the Separatists are allowed to get away with so much on Naboo.
No, yeah.
I think that maybe one of the reasons why is that maybe because like royal planets, like the ones that have like a monarchy, like such as Toydaria and Naboo, we see how close the Republic is with King Katunko, but we don't see like a republic station there. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
think maybe that if they're ruled by a monarchy, I don't think they really need to have republic forces there because like they have their own like type of protection. I don't know.
Yeah, Naboo has like their own fleet, you know. So they're probably like, we don't, you know, I'm sure there's somewhere in there where like taxes are involved. Like there's Republic taxes if they deploy like clones and stuff like that. You have to pay for them essentially. And there's like, no, we'll keep using N1s. It's fine.
Mhm.
It could also be that Palpatine is advising the Queen, like, oh, you don't need troops stationed here. You already have, the Naboo Royal Guard, so you don't really need clones protecting Naboo.
No,
Could be
absolutely.
another thing.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I mean, we can just basically bring it down to Palpatine was just like, I don't care. Like he's just like, and to be honest, in canon, he's not a big fan of his own planet.
Yeah.
He's not a big fan of Naboo at all. So that's the interesting.
Yeah, all he cares about is that he was born there. He doesn't
Yeah, that's
like
it.
why would the first crisis he creates be on Naboo, you know?
Yeah, he literally.
There's
I
a
mean,
reason it's on the list for Operation Cinder.
yes.
Exactly.
Yep. So obviously with the Separatist landing, we get to see General Grievous, and him and Boss Leone or Jar Jar have this. He's like, all right, let's go plan out this attack. And Jar Jar's like thinking to himself, fuck, it's not good. We're in trouble. And he actually does a really good job. To Jar Jar's credit, he does a fantastic job with like stalling. Like I feel like he if you need somebody to stall, pick Jar Jar. He's perfect at it. He's just fantastic at it. Um so we have him stalling. Anakin is chasing after Rish Low. He ends up getting cut off by two probe droids. Takes them out pretty easily. But General Tarpless and Jar Jar, he kind of talks to Tarpless and is like, kind of gives him like a, hey, we need the Republic without telling, like so that Grievous can't pick it up. And Tarples calls Padme, and she's like, well, you got to capture him. And that's what they end up doing. They're able to handle themselves pretty well against a formidable, like a really to a general that was able to take down multiple Jedi. Which is kind of the gripe of this kind of episode. Kind of gives me the gripe of like I don't really find Grievous in the Clone Wars that intimidating, and this is a main reason why. Because I mean, the Gungans are don't get me wrong, the Gungans are fantastic warriors, but like
Yeah, we do see that.
and we see that, but like it's General freaking Grievous. Like, come on, he's supposed to be the biggest bad of the entire Separatist army.
Yeah, the fact we don't see like one Gungan even take like a nick from a lightsaber is like, that's
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah, I just it just is weird. It's very weird to me. But anybody else got thoughts on that fight? I mean, it was impressive that the Gungans were able to hold their own for sure.
Talk about General Tarples and a noble sacrifice. And, there's that line where Grievous is like, how does it feel to die? And Tarples like, not die, sacrifice. And then he hits him, I think, with the bolo or something, or like the stun pike. And then they throw their bolos.
Yeah, he impales him.
Yeah, like through, like up the cavity, like next to his head.
I'm like, oh, because I was like, when I was watching this episode today, I was like, oh, they're not cutting Gungans apart because it's a kid show. And then like 3 seconds later, like the dude's dream a spear coming out of his neck, and I'm like, okay, why didn't we see a Gungan get his arm cut off?
No, yeah, that's so true though. So then we've got Grievous. He's been captured. Sidious is talking to Dooku, and he says, "This is not going toward. You can't let this stand. Like this is. I need him for my plans. We have to get him back." And of course, Dooku's like, "Oh, well, no, it's Palpatine ends up saying, "Hey, use Skywalker because he's an easy pawn." And so Dooku contacts Breeze Slow to lure Skywalker into the trap. Anakin falls for it, hook, line, and sinker. And Rishlo ends up getting killed by Dooku, which tracks because Dooku likes to backstab people. That's his MO. Dooku gives a speech that is very that is interesting because he's talking about where the war started, where it originally started, and he goes into this whole thing of you were here, you were part of the beginning of this war, and Anakin acts as if like he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What were your guys' thoughts of like him bringing back the connection to Phantom Menace?
I mean, I think it really tracks with the character of Count Dooku because if we go back to Attack of the Clones, he literally told Obi-Wan, "Hey, a Sith is in control of the Republic." Like, I don't know why you don't believe me, but that's just the truth. And now he's relating another thing that relates to the current conflict, being like, "Oh yeah, this started 10 years ago. It didn't start, at the Battle of Geonosis. It's been going on since the Battle of Naboo." So it's another way of Dooku he's basically telling the truth, but of course, since it's Anakin, he's not going to believe him just because he doesn't want to. And he can't really process it in a way where he could accept that as the truth. So I think it really matches up with Dooku as a character and kind of a recurring actions that he takes, not only in this episode, but further down the line in the Clone Wars as well.
No, yeah. Chase, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what Aiden said is spot on, but I think what kind of like even if we backtrack a little bit of like Palpatine saying like get Skywalker here, because I always joke that like Padme and Anakin are the Jedi Council's worst kept secret. And obviously Palpatine knows about it too, and we see this a couple times where he uses Anakin and Padme as pawns in his little schemes, and it's one of those things where he tells Dooku, and it's almost like Dooku's like, "Oh yeah, we can use them." Like he catches on, he's like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh yeah, we can use that." And it's just funny how all of these things always come together for the Separatists and the Sith. And they're just like obviously master manipulators, but I think it's so interesting that multiple times throughout the series we get these connections to the Phantom Menace and to the Attack of the Clones, and just like seeing Dooku manipulate people and how predictable like Anakin is and how they use that against him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the like if you can use Padme as a part, like use it because Anakin's gonna jump at the chance to do that. So I truly believe without the Magna Guards, Anakin would have won this fight straight up. Like Dooku's handling Anakin pretty well, but I feel like and it's just like the Saber fight that happens later on in this season, or is it next season or this season? It's this season, I think.
They fight all the time,
when he's back on Naboo, the second time him and Dooku fight during the Obi-Wan bounty hunter arc. That's in later this season, correct? Okay. So I mean, like even that Saber fight, like that could have been the very end of Dooku right there. Like Anakin progresses from the battle, from his Saber fight with Dooku in Attack of the Clones to the fight that he has in the Clone Wars movie, and then it just keeps progressing. He gets better and better and better. You just see that the war has helped him in that aspect. And I also think this is one of the like most underrated Saber fights. Because it's just like it's so close quarters combat, and he's just like it's just blow for blow, and Anakin's getting stabbed with the Magna Guards, and I just think it was just a well choreographed fight. What were your guys' thoughts?
There's one part of this fight, and I think you're right. I think it's just really cool to see the progression, because when we see an Attack of the Clones, oh, I'll take him myself, and then
Yes.
he just gets destroyed by Dooku.
Yes.
And then now, fast forward a couple years, and Dooku has, is it 4 or 6 Magna Guards on him?
4.
4. So regardless, he needs 4 Magna Guards plus himself to contain Anakin the way he needed in Attack of the Clones just by himself. But there's a part when he is getting like pinned down by a handful of those Magna Guards, and you just see the frustration in Anakin's face, and he blows them off of him.
Yeah.
And it's something that I noticed specifically in season 4, as like the technology, the animation gets better throughout the show. You get to see stuff like this. You get to see like there's facial expressions that change and tell a better story, because you can see in Anakin's face he's getting frustrated, and that frustration leads to anger, and the anger explodes out of him, and the Magna Guards just go flying.
No, yeah, absolutely. I love that. Char, what were your thoughts on the Saber fight?
I thought it was very cool. I think that Dooku had instances where he just had the match in his hands, like he was walking away, and then when you see the Magna Guards being pushed away by Anakin, he like stops and then he immediately turns around. It's like he was so overconfident with that match, and then as you see him choking him, and then against the wall at the same time, when he's choking him in the air and then shocking him, I was like, dude, like that was such a cool scene. And I've seen art about that from time to time. Like if you go on the internet and see art of Dooku shocking Anakin, like you see a lot of that art of him in the air, like getting electrocuted. Like it's awesome. But I have a like, why were those Magna Guards? Why was the ends of them yellow, not purple?
Interesting. Aiden, you got an answer for that?
Well, nothing like confirmed, but I like to think that these Magna Guards were personally trained by Dooku instead of Grievous. So instead of having that trickle down from Dooku to Grievous to the Magna Guards, it's Dooku directly to the Magna Guards and teaching them how to fight a Jedi. And it's kind of interesting in this fight how Dooku kind of pulls a play from Grievous's playbook, where he utilizes his Magna Guards instead of fighting a Jedi just one-on-one, which normally when you think of Dooku, he normally, takes on fights by himself and isn't really reliant on any outside force or, warriors or stuff like that. So it's interesting to see kind of that parallel that's drawn between Grievous and Dooku, because of course they are student and teacher.
Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting take. Yeah.
No, yeah,
that might be the reason. Yeah.
No, yeah,
I could definitely see that being the.
That makes a whole lot of sense, to be honest with you, because I mean, it could be his own Magna Guards. So I like that explanation a ton. Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to do that. That's cool. Anyway,
I did that.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, because I have the power now.
Oh, well, we both do, so this is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then Dooku ends up getting the best of Anakin. So he calls Padme, and he says, "Let's make a trade." And Padme's hesitant too, because if she knows that they have the upper hand with Grievous gone, with them capturing Grievous, the war is pretty much signed, sealed, delivered. But Dooku is able to outwit Padme by using her love for Anakin by shocking him, and it's very, very, because at one point she goes, "You can't do that. He's a prisoner of war," and he goes, "That's not gonna stop me. I'm gonna do whatever I want."
Also, Anakin does it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like Poggle the Lesser. Talk to that guy. He got choked out by Anakin. But like, and that's what ends up breaking the camel's back, is that he breaks Padme. Like, she's like, Jar Jar's like, he's our friend. Like, we gotta help him. And she's like, well, like you're right, Jar Jar, but like this is me putting my personal stuff before anything else, which is an interesting take. But then we get to see the exchange. Grievous looks like a real pussy, to be honest with you. But like
Just because of the orbs.
yeah. I mean, he's walking, and then like, and it keeps to canon because
Yes.
Anakin is still knocked out. So
Yep.
their first ever meeting is still in Revenge of the Sith. He has no knowledge that
Yeah.
he has knowledge that this happened, but he doesn't remember like anything of that.
I love how well they wrote this to keep that hidden
Yes.
from
Yes.
Anakin.
Yes.
Because they were literally right next to each other, and Anakin was like half awake. You could hear him walking, I'm assuming, but he didn't see him. Like that's crazy. If you think about it, again, you go back and watch Clone Wars, you're like, wait, the first time was in Revenge of the Sith, and like he's been around for like what, 2.5, 3 years?
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that is the end of the episode. This is a quick one.
I know.
A very, very
Hey,
quick one.
but let me tell you, we got a lot of heavy arcs coming up next.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
We got a couple. Let me go check. So next one we have the droids arc. We have episodes 5 and 6. That's 2 episodes, and then after that we have the 4-episode Umbara arc. And then after Umbara we have the 3-episode Zygeria
arc.
And then we get a little bit of a little Mandalorian conflict, and then we get the 3-episode box episode, or AKA Obi-Wan disguised episode arc.
Yep.
So yeah, we got a lot going on,
and we've got Celebration coming up, and we got a whole bunch of things. I think everybody here is going to Celebration, so that's awesome. We're gonna be doing some fun stuff. I know me and Aidan are room buddy. Count it. But yeah, Char, 3 interesting facts.
Yeah, do you want them? Are you worthy enough?
I think I'm worthy.
Okay,
I think I would like if you put Hayden's hair on me, I could be Thor. I mean, saying.
Hey, if you wish that, hey Aidan, want to do a little trade off like this episode did?
I'll take your hair.
You can have
you can
have like short, like, faded gray hair.
Hey, you know what? I posted on TikTok, on my TikTok story and on my Instagram story. I could almost pull off that EW cover. I'm not even lying. I absolutely could, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So, okay, now we get to it. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 21, Shadow Warrior Edition. Fact 1, the meaning behind the title. Curious as to why the title of the episode is called Shadow Warrior? It's a nod to Akira Kurosawa's work, and the translation for Shadow Warrior in Japanese is Kagamusha, a film that was produced by George Lucas in 1980 about a lowly criminal impersonating a dying warlord. Fact 2, Boss Leone's origin. Boss Leone was created to specifically resemble Jar Jar Binks, as both characters were made on the same animation model. I mean, they used that pretty well in the episode. For the story to work, Boss Nass was written out of the series. For those of you who are curious, he is alive and well, but retired. In early development, Boss Leone's name was Boss Nat, but it was too confusingly similar to Boss Nass's name. Fact 3, the Sith's presence on Naboo. Count Dooku talks to Darth Sidious via hologram from within a secret command center on the planet. This is intended to suggest a long-standing Sith presence on Naboo, most likely used by Sidious himself long ago, when Naboo centered into his plans for galactic conquest. Also, this is not the first secret facility revealed on Naboo. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about the Shadow Warrior episode.
And now we go into our ranking of the episode. Youngling bad, Padawan okay, Jedi Knight good, Jedi Master great, Jedi Grandmaster is Chef's kiss. Aidan, let's start with you. What's your ranking?
I'm gonna have to go with Padawan on this one. Just because like stuff happens in this episode, but really it's just it's just not my favorite episode, just because I don't know. The episodes centered around Jar Jar just aren't my favorite personally. So that's kind of what brings this episode down for me. But there's good stuff with Dooku, and there's the stuff with General Grievous and Anakin and all that stuff. So just for me, it's a Padawan.
Okay. Chase?
I mean, I'm interested in what you two think, because I don't want to be the outlier here.
I'll say it's a Jedi Knight. It's good. It's got some good lore stuff.
Hey, Chase, if yours is different, don't be worried to have an opinion.
Yeah. Have an opinion. We all know what you think of Mortis, so I mean, what else is new?
You don't have a ranking low enough for Mortis, so.
Oh man. I would say Jedi. I would say Jedi Knight. It's okay. It's not. Padawan's okay. No, I'll say it's. I'd say it's a Jedi Knight. I'll say a Jedi Knight.
Do you want me to go first, or
Yeah,
do you want to go? Because I know you said you wanted us two to go. Okay. So I would say that this is a Padawan. I'd say that because it feels like a filler episode in a way, but there's some things that do happen. Like there's interesting points to the episode, but this feels like a filler episode. By all means, filler is not a bad thing. I think filler is not just like, oh, this is just to make the story longer. I think it's just story setup. That's how I see it. But the reason why this episode it feels kind of out of place is because this episode was supposed to be the first episode of the season, but Filoni wanted a more action-packed kickstart to season 4, so they had the Mon Cala arc before this. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so instead of starting off the season with a Jar Jar episode, they had a Mon Cala arc. So, yeah, I would say I give it a Padawan. There's some stuff that happens, but it's not my cup of tea. I'm right with you on that, Aidan.
I'm gonna go Jedi Master.
Wow.
Nice.
There's a couple reasons. One thing I kind of forgot to mention, and this is something that unintentionally most likely ties into Legends. In the scene with Rish Lu in Dooku's little lair, he touches Dooku at one point, and when he is stabbed by Dooku, right? He grabs onto Dooku's hand and then falls down, and Dooku does this after he's touched him. Like, he brushes the filth off of his robe, which in the book Darth Plagueis, it is stated multiple times how much Sidious and Tyrannus can't stand the Gungans. James Luceno basically says they're super racist towards the Gungans, and that little gesture of get the nasty Gungan disgusting filth off of me, I'm like, ooh, that's brutal. And then kind of like what I brought up with Anakin and the frustration and pushing them off, I think we get so many subtle things from Dooku, Anakin, and Grievous in this. I think that Grievous really does, he's not a good villain, and I think this almost weighs into that. If Dooku would have been on the Separatist ship with Jar Jar, right? Jar Jar would have gotten his head cut off in 10 seconds.
Yes.
But Dooku was okay, fine, I'll wait. And it's Grievous, you should have had this planned already. What are you doing waiting for the Gungans to help you plan this attack? And I think there's so many little things that coincide with this episode that I think really make it an interesting thing for the building of those characters and their interactions, especially when it comes into Revenge of the Sith. I think Anakin, Dooku, and Grievous together in that movie, even though Dooku gets knocked out in the beginning of the movie. Snapchat video is calling, by the way. But yeah, I think there's really cool stuff about this. I do like Jar Jar Binks. He's not my favorite character, but I do really like him. And I like the episodes in the Clone Wars where he does get to come through and show how useful he can be, and he's not just this clumsy little guy.
Like Bombad Jedi. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and oh god, the Mace Windu arc with Jar Jar at the end of season 6.
The disappeared arc, I believe it's what it's called.
It's a really interesting arc, and I think it really that episode does some very interesting things with the Force. But yeah, this episode is really, really cool. And I think it's interesting that we see like these power struggles within the Republic and also within Naboo. I think the necklace is like the one thing in the episode I really don't like. I'm like, is the Force in that?
It felt like a charm. That's like,
It's
if you wear this, you are mine.
very a plot armor necklace type deal.
Yeah, kind of.
No, yeah, yeah, it's not a great episode, but it gets the job done. Gets the job done. Now I know this is going to be probably going to be a little shorter episode. But we're going to talk about some Star Wars news, not only in our galaxy, but also in the galaxy of Star Wars. And we're back. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is we are doing a giveaway. This little book, Queen's Hope, came out on Tuesday.
Yeah, April 5th.
I have this is my second copy. I got a signed copy by E.K. Johnston that I will be keeping to my collection. But I've decided to do a giveaway for this bad boy or bad girl, I guess I should say. How, Aidan, have you gotten into the book?
I haven't read any of the Padme books, unfortunately, yet, but
You need to.
It's on my
They're
list.
very good.
It's on
They're
my
very
list.
good. They give you a lot of
I've
backstory
just been
about.
busy over the past couple of months, but they're definitely on my list. So
Dude, you definitely
I
need
will
to
get
read
those
this.
done before Celebration.
Oh,
Promise.
yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it gives you a lot of backstory about the Naboo monarchy and what how much the handmaidens, like the purpose of the handmaidens and how much like what they're worth because in the movies they're just seen as like background characters, but they have so much depth in these books.
Yep.
Can't wait to read them.
But for those that are tuning in, you can enter the giveaway by subscribing to the YouTube channel, Instagram, and also our TikTok. Comment in the video that I just uploaded an hour ago, and put done, and then I will put you into the raffle, and then the entries will end on the 13th, and I will announce the winner live next week for our next episode of the podcast. So if you want in on this great book, which you should, it's a great, awesome read, definitely go do that giveaway. Also, US only. Sorry for those that live out of the US. I apologize, but I can't afford that shipping. But also in some more book news, we got some Legends Essentials that came out on Tuesday as well. I ended up grabbing both Darth Plagueis and the Kenobi book, which I won't be reading this book until after the series is over.
Yeah, I actually have like the old the regular art for both those books. I see them right there.
Yeah, because I just don't. I've heard things, and I don't want to get like my hopes up for things that happen in this book and not have it happen in the show. Yeah. Like that's just my vibe. I got these two because I love Darth Plagueis. It's one of my favorite Legends novels, which I wish would be canon because it's such a interesting book.
I know the stipulations, but there's literally no reason it shouldn't be canon.
Just the fact that Master and Apprentice kind of decanonizes it, unfortunately.
I don't know. It is I love a lot of the really old expanded universe books, but Darth Plagueis is one of the last expanded universe books that was ever published. There's like one from James S. A. Corey, I think was one of the last ones, but I can't, man, Darth Plagueis, it's if you haven't read it,
it's an absolute need. Yes, yep. James Luceno has a way of writing, and it's tough, but once you get through it, it's
Yeah, he kind of writes backwards, I'd say.
he's kind of like J.R.R. Tolkien in a way. Like, he likes to write very detailed stuff.
He's
Mhm.
building a world within a world, is what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, he did a really good job with the Tarkin book, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Mhm.
love,
You-
love, 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 love Tarkin.
You
Love
learn so much about Tarkin and his homeworld within that book. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say James Luceno, and I've also heard really good things about Kenobi, but I'm
I
just
read that book during my
I've
senior
read it
year
as
of high
well.
school. I feel like some of that stuff in that book might have happened in Kenobi. I'm not certain, but it could
I-
have.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
getting my
not-
hopes up or anything, but I
I'm-
enjoyed it. It was a good read.
and it's a fantastic cover. I love this freaking cover. It's so good. It's so awesome. I just love it. It's just great. So for those that are looking for a Queen's Hope review, Char's read about 5 chapters of it.
Yeah, about that. I'd say.
Chase is currently through Shadow.
Yeah, I started with Peril. I really liked
Okay.
Peril. And I'm gonna say 5 or 6 chapters in on Shadow right now. I thoroughly enjoyed Peril. It is my type of Star Wars book of
Okay.
let's explain the little tiny things. Like, let's take this one little thing, and in Queen's Peril, it's really, why does the queen look the way she looks? Why does she talk the way she talks? And who are these people that are always around her? And why there all these little switcheroos happening?
Mhm.
And it's like stuff that's not super important to the plot of the film, but you're always like, why is that? And then a book comes along and tells you all that stuff. And that is my favorite stuff. I mean, that's what's so cool about Darth Plagueis is it's just a line in Revenge of the Sith that has like this Bible written about that one line.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing about like Star Wars books when they do that.
And Aiden, I would tell you to read. I would say read Queen Shadow, Peril, and then Hope. Even
Shadow,
though
Peril, then Hope.
yeah,
Okay.
even though canonically it's supposed to be Peril, Shadow, Hope. Because Shadow takes place a few years before. No, it
Yeah,
happens right after she is out of office as the Queen of Naboo.
yeah, she's leaving the monarchy
Yeah,
at the very beginning of the book.
Yeah, leaves the monarchy at the very beginning of the book, and then gets to become the senator, and then it's her first year or 2 years. So it's great. If you guys want to go check out my thoughts, full of the spoilers, go over to They Fly Now. I was able to do a spoiler review with those guys. So go check it out there. We'll eventually, once Char's got the book read, we'll do a video on spoiler free and then spoiler review.
It'll be
of
soon.
The book,
It'll be pretty soon.
of the book.
I've been working a lot on a very upcoming event that we're going to be doing.
Yes. So, we are doing the Pod Ones podcast trivia tournament is happening. You've known this
We're
for a
back.
while. We're back. But here's the thing: we are not doing it live this time. We are going to do pre-recorded. So, Char, do you have access to showing the bracket?
I do. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the image first.
Yep. So
because I'll have to.
Char's gonna pull up the images. We're gonna have 2 play-in games tomorrow. We'll record those. Those will be released on Monday. So be on the lookout for that. And then we'll release a match every day. So once we've completed all of the matches from round 1, we'll wait two weekends, and then we'll record the round 2, and those will be released leading up to Celebration and who will face Darth Draco. So that's kind of how it's going to be. You guys won't want to miss this tournament. We're working hard on getting. We've got a whole setup for it. So I would just love to. Can we make that a little bit bigger? Is there any way that you can make it a little bit bigger? It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah,
If not, it's okay. So we got breakdown of the competitors. The number one
there we go.
overall seed is B_Dazzler or Brooke, Far Away Factory. Real quick, we're gonna plug her stuff. Farfarawayfactory.com. Say that 5 times. Far Away Factory on Instagram, _B_Dazzler_ on TikTok, and she still has an Etsy shop. You guys can get this Brotherhood t-shirt and sweatshirt that I'm rocking, courtesy of Brooke. So go support her. She is our number one seed. She will be playing the winner of the 9-8 play-in game. What's the name? It's Bucky. I can't. Basically Bucky.
Mhm.
Basically Bucky and the Mandalorian, who has been on the podcast several times.
Mhm.
I think that could be an interesting matchup. Then we have Xanatos 1138 in Element 7. The winner of that matchup will face Harith Productions. And then to round out the rest of the competitors, number 3 seed Star Wars Lawyer will be taking on Car2D2, which is the second half of They Fly Now. Then we have the 5-4 matchup of St. Pat and Haley Corellia Coffee Works. So you guys won't want to miss this. We'll be releasing this all of next week. So if this does well, there might be other things that we are looking to do down the road. Maybe even a league, possibly.
Potentially. Depends on, the responses that we do get from this tournament and how well it's received. And hopefully people do enjoy it, because the first time we did it, Luke, a lot of people enjoyed it a lot.
Oh yeah,
They
absolutely.
were really involved. They really wanted to, because, you can't go wrong with trivia, especially Star Wars trivia. Star Wars trivia is always super fun. So if you ever want to be a part of this, maybe down the road, don't get me wrong, there'll be more Star Wars trivia tournaments.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
we'll increase it. Maybe we will do like factions, maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on how far we do get into it. But yeah, so the first plans will begin tomorrow.
Yep.
Those will be released next week, and then on Saturday, though, that first row of players will all happen tomorrow or Sunday. So
Yep, Saturday or Sunday, absolutely. And then those will also be released next week.
So yeah, so stay tuned, watch those competitions, and be ready to follow along. And if you want to answer those questions while watching the video, go ahead.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that's what we've got going on here. And I mean, the other little thing is Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga released on Tuesday. I'm pretty sure everybody in the Discord server and everybody that is a Star Wars fan has gone out and gotten this damn game and has played it.
I've actually have not.
So Char, shame, ding ding, shame.
Okay,
ding, ding.
okay. Throw food in the Latone. All right, fine.
Anyway, for those that have played it, Aidan, have you played it yet?
I haven't played it yet, just due to the fact that I haven't gotten my hands on it yet. I ordered it all the way back when it was supposed to come out on Amazon, so it's just gotten pushed back, but it's supposed to arrive next week. Hopefully.
Ooh, next week.
Yeah.
Interesting. I will say I've played through, I am on Return of the Jedi right now. I am really, really, really enjoying it. It's a fun, it just brings me back to when I was a kid. Lego, they released the original trilogy, then the complete saga when I was a kid. So I absolutely
released the first
that.
Lego game in 2005, around the same time when Battlefront 2 came out on PlayStation 2.
Yes.
That was the first game that was the first Star Wars game I ever played, was Lego Star Wars, the video game.
Yes, it was great. And anything that Lego has done, it's just amazing. And I mean, the voice acting is really well done. They got, I mean, for the prequels, they got, for episode 2 and 3, they got pretty much the whole cast from the Clone Wars.
Oh, they got Padme, they got Anakin, they have Corey Burton, they have James Arnold Taylor, they have Tom Kane voicing Yoda, they have him voicing Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
And dude, it's like it feels like you are a part of that story. It's like, and also obviously D. Bradley Baker voices all the clones. He voices Jango Fett.
Yeah.
And also Daniel Logan, who plays young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, he said on Twitter that he voices Boba Fett in the Return of the Jedi gameplay.
Yes. Yes. I didn't notice that, so that was awesome.
Mhm.
Chase, you've played about as much as I have. What are your thoughts?
I'm a little further. I'm about halfway done with The Last Jedi right now.
Oh wow, you've been grinding.
Nice.
Let me preface this before I make people upset. My first Star Wars game was Super Star Wars.
I actually have that on my PlayStation.
Well, this is the Super Nintendo one.
No, if you got like the Battlefront 2 PlayStation, you get like a voucher code for like a bunch of old PlayStation games, and Super Star Wars is on my PlayStation. It's
so
cool.
that is my first experience playing a Star Wars game. And I had a similar experience, and it's just probably my age range. All the Lego games and the Clone Wars TV show were kind of coming out at the same time. And I, grew up playing stuff like TIE Fighter and Rogue Squadron and Star Wars Galaxies. And when Lego Star Wars was out, I was actively playing Star Wars. When Lego Star Wars was out, I was playing Star Wars Galaxies. I had like a town that I was building. I was grinding in my X-Wing. And so the Lego thing didn't really appeal to me at the time. So I missed all of those games, the Batman ones, the Harry Potter ones, the Star Wars ones. I didn't get into it. So this is like my first Lego game.
Yeah, and if I stand corrected, your co-host Xanatos, he's played Galaxies too.
Oh yeah, we were on different servers back in the day, so we didn't. I was hoping because it has happened to me where I was talking like, "Oh, you played Galaxies? Which server one?" Like, "Oh, you're on Kayuri. You were on Kayuri. What guild were you in?" And then we found out we had probably talked to each other in Star Wars Galaxies years ago.
That's
awesome. That's great.
So this is my first Lego Star Wars game. So the nostalgia appeal to it is non-existent for me. The jokes are falling flat for me because I'm not used to that format.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Because oh yeah, I love this part of the movie. It's a super serious moment, and like Chewbacca comes in and like is like showering or something. I'm like, you're ruining the moment. What are you doing? Go. And it's like, I think it's really taken until like the sequel trilogy section of the game for me to kind of be like, okay, it's just fun the whole time. Like I don't know why, but I was expecting like Qui-Gon's death to like be a really emotional, impactful scene, and it's not meant to be.
In the old Lego games, it is.
Yeah.
And the new one, I've seen the clips. It's funny.
Yeah, everything's funny. There's not a serious moment in the game, and it really threw me off being a newbie to the Lego series. I am the worst type of video game player where if I can find an exploit, I will use it. Everything in that game is exploitable. The amount of times I've just gone through every single boss without getting hit is ridiculous. And I'm like, wow. Okay. I'll say this, the combat is actually like well paced and well done. It's not my style of combat, but it's like more fleshed out and polished than a lot of other games that have been coming out recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, it's very simplistic, but in its simplicity, it works really well. So it's interesting. I don't think I will do the open world stuff. I think once I hit Rise of Skywalker, I'm going to unfortunately probably shelf it. I'm not going to focus on the collectibles. I 100%ed Jedi Fallen Order twice. Don't ever do that. Not even once. It's horrible. So it's just one of those things like I do want to get through Last Jedi and I want to finish Rise of Skywalker. I'm curious as to how they're going to do some of the Rise of Skywalker stuff. There's like some sequences that I'm like very surprised they cut out. Like there's just some like action sequences that I was like, that's just a cutscene. Like going into the Death Star, the second Death Star in the
Yes.
Battle of Endor, and I'm like, whoa, no, let me do this. This would be fun. And then it's like, nope, it's just blown up now. And I'm like, really? Okay, the flying's not great in there, but I want to fly in the Death Star.
In the old ones, yeah, you could. In the
Yeah,
complete
and
saga, you could.
Lego Star Wars 2 and the Complete Saga, the Death Star 2 was a mission that you could play.
Yep, I do remember that. Well, I
And
feel
also,
like
I noticed that the first mission in Revenge of the Sith, the Battle of Coruscant, was cut
Yeah.
out too.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no Battle of Coruscant. You kind of jump straight into them crashing into the Separatist capital ship.
Which
Which is
funny.
yeah.
The birthday party or the retirement party.
Retirement.
Yeah.
I was like, there have been moments where I'm like, that was cute. That was
Yeah.
cute.
So, trivia question: what is the name of that ship?
Which ship?
Of that capital ship? that they crash
Oh
into?
man, I'm not good with Separatist and Republic ships. Aiden's
I'll give
got
you
it.
hints.
Okay, Aiden.
It's the Invisible Hand.
Yep. Yep. So that's the type of questions that you guys should look forward to in the trivia.
Oh yeah, I think yeah, I'll be.
Span from all different categories of Star Wars. You'll
I
see
think
questions from
I'll be
all-
supplying a starship question for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh
Which
yeah.
you have. You'll be. I'll assume you'll be supplying a couple, but
Oh,
there will
yeah.
be questions from all 9 movies, all 9 episodic movies, the 2 anthologies, Rogue One and Solo, and the 6 Star Wars shows: Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Bad Batch, Rebels, Resistance, and Clone Wars.
Yep.
So all those types of questions will be present at our trivia tournament.
Yep, absolutely. But guys, sorry for the technical difficulty. Char, you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I
writing
had a
the
very
ship.
bad. I think I had a very subpar plot reading, but Harith was not there to critique me, so that was good.
That's that's a positive. This is like I said, this is a shorter episode. Next week we will be starting at a later time because we have a couple of extra guests coming next week. We have Duel of the Ranks. Their podcast is I think they start recording at 7, so we'll go at 8:30. So it'll be kind of a later one for East Coast people. So sorry about that. But it's gonna be a good one. And we also have Meg Sky Renobi. I think that's her username.
Skyronobi.
Yeah, Meg Sky Renobi. So you guys won't want to miss that. We got some new faces coming into the community. But Chase, where can the good people find you on the social medias?
On the social medias, you could find me at Forward Into the Black on TikTok, as well as twitch.tv. And every other weekend, you can find myself and my co-host Xanatos1138, who's one of your contestants on the trivia, doing the Rogue Council podcast with our friend Roddy, where he go to Mass 27. And we will be talking about Solo this coming Sunday. So if you want to get some spicy introspective takes on Solo, join us at 8 p.m.
We
Eastern.
love spiciness.
Spicy.
Spiciness is the main adjective of the Pod Ones podcast. Let me say that. Yeah, I know Luke's the spiciest person here. I guess I don't know, but Aiden, I don't know if you because at the beginning of the episode there was a icebreaker question. I don't know if you answered it yet or not, but it was what's your favorite planet in the Star Wars galaxy?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Kashyyyk. I just really like the.
Yes.
I
Yes,
love the.
Aiden!
I love the Wookiee architecture.
Yes.
And since, like, I'm going to school for construction management and all that stuff, it's just that planet's really interesting to me by utilizing natural environments in the way they build their buildings and stuff. So that's my favorite.
Fist bump, brother.
Boom.
You gotta go to like city planners and be like, it would be better
if you got
if
a big ass
if you
tree in here.
built your office in a tree.
Exactly.
Oh my god, no! But I love Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk is my favorite. Like if I could
Kashyyyk's really cool.
if I could go and live, like people like they're like, well, like there's like wild animals and like dangerous things. I'm like, bro, I'm with the Wookiees. I think I'll be fine.
Don't go to the Shadowlands and you'll be good.
But like, what planet in Star Wars doesn't have dangerous animals in it?
That's my point.
Coruscant?
Mine,
Maybe.
my favorite.
Oh, hold on. But in Bespin, you're literally falling. You're falling. That's the scariest part.
Okay, Now, Bespin is made up entirely of Tabana gas. It's one of the few gas giant. I think it's the only gas giant that's purely made out of Tabana gas. So does that mean that you could encounter potentially Purgle
Yes.
on Bespin?
Yes. Yes. I think that's actually is that canon? Yeah, that's canon, right?
I don't know. I know that Purgle feed on Tabana gas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Bespin is purely Tabana gas. And that's why it's the only gas giant in the galaxy. It is like a Goldilocks planet. It's the only gas giant in the Star Wars galaxy that can sustain life as long as it's at a certain elevation.
I think even in the Battlefront 2 campaign during the missions to Bespin, they're like creatures that produce the Tabana gas on Bespin.
That's what
as well.
is.
So it's kind of like a I wouldn't call it like symbiotic relationship, but kind of like a cooperative relationship probably between those creatures and the Purgle, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the danger of Bespin, by and large, is if you fall off of Cloud City, you die.
Yeah.
you don't just die. You fall. You don't even get to hit anything. You just die.
If you go into like physics of like what would happen if you like fell into a gas giant, it'd be like, well, you would, first of all, every atom of your body would be ripped apart by wind that's blowing at like 7,000 miles an hour. If you survive that, you would melt in the gas that is burning at about 4,000 degrees Celsius. It's not a good time.
No, not a good time. And Lando
thank God for that little pole that Luke was hanging on.
Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Like,
I'm confused. Like, how did his Saber survive all that?
Well, it never
got that far.
It never got that far. Char.
Maz Kanata just like, ha.
Well, no.
There is an explanation.
There is an explanation.
Right?
I know.
Found it.
Oh, okay, all right. I was like, Char, do you not know this?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I know the story behind it.
We have a Star Wars podcast.
The original
got a trivia tournament coming up.
The original trilogy is just really poorly written and not planned at all.
Yeah.
Oh man, not like that.
Yeah.
Not like that prequel trilogy or that sequel.
Yeah, not
trilogy.
like that sequel.
You know, hey, you know.
I love it when siblings kiss.
Aidan, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
You can find me at Aidan Talks Stars Topics on TikTok. I am the host of the ATST show. I talk about Star Wars lore.
So here's the question:
like funny skits and whatnot, and just have a really good time talking about Star Wars.
When are we gonna get a YouTube channel? When are we gonna get a podcast?
A podcast? I don't know.
Because you can't just say you're the host of the ATSD show and not give us any content.
No, I've been really busy recently.
I know, but like, hey, this summer,
Luke's pressing Aidan.
No. We are gonna have we're gonna have the first ever ATST show at Celebration.
We'll try it out and we'll see where it goes. I'll promise you that much.
I think it could be a huge success. Yeah, I mean, look at you. You're just amazing. So I mean, come on. This is a win-win situation for you. You know?
I'll take your word for it.
See, the people are clamoring for it. The people are clamoring for it.
Okay, does the ATST show just stand for All Terrain Scout Transport, or is it something special?
It's like a shorter way for me to say Aidan Talks Star Wars Topics.
Aidan Talks Star Topics.
And it's missing a W, but you know what? It works. So that's what I went with.
That's awesome.
Or maybe Star Wars will eventually make a canon ATSWT, All Terrain Scout Water Transport. I don't know.
That would be great.
No, maybe that's the variant they used on Mon Cala, when they were occupying it.
Maybe
that may
they make that canon Aidan's name.
Yeah, it's already been there. It's the TIE tank. It's the greatest worst vehicle in Star Wars ever.
That's awesome. I am not harassing him.
Thank you, Brian.
I'm not harassing him. Char, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
Good people, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ, as said right here. Right there, yeah. And you can find me here at the Pod Ones podcast every Thursday night to cover our Clone Wars rewatch. Next week, we'll be covering the Droids arc, episodes 5 and 6 with C-3PO and R2-D2.
The
Yeah.
bad
And-
droid arc.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I know your love for Meeber.
Wow.
And then next week,
Meeber Gaston.
next week, stay tuned for upcoming releases for our Star Wars trivia tournament. We will be giving a lot of videos about that. So stay
Yep.
tuned for that. And Luke, where can the other good people find you on TikTok? Other
Good people across the galaxy and in the interwebs. You can follow me at you can follow us at the Pod Ones Podcast on TikTok, Pod Ones Pod on Instagram, and Pod Ones Podcast on Twitter. Again, be on the lookout. Go like, comment, subscribe. That helps us with the channel. If you guys want that book, get in on it. It's going to be an awesome giveaway. I look forward to making somebody's day by giving away that book.
How much is international shipping?
I don't know. It's probably like $14, $15.
Yeah,
Why?
I'll sponsor an international winner. If you-
Oh, all right. I like that. You know what? I'll take you up on that.
yeah, I'll sponsor it. If you want, if we have any friends in
In the,
not America,
in not America, and want the chance to win the Queen's Hope book, you're more than welcome to participate. But like I said, thank you guys for coming on the show. We always appreciate the awesomeness that is our community. And for that, may the force be with you.
For Light and for Life.
We are all the Republic with you.
Yeah.